Hey everybody, welcome to the iProv vlog where we help business leaders grow their business. I'm Jordan Smith and I'm joined as always by Patrick Laughlin. What's up, Pat?
What's up, Joe? How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about our topic today. This is one that was suggested twice by somebody who viewed the vlog that sent us a message, and from one of our employees, which is how to avoid making bad hires.
Yeah, I think this is crucial. Especially at times like these where there are lots of people looking, and for businesses like ours, that means that there's lots of opportunity to pick up talent that we might not otherwise have a shot at. But that's when it's most important to be really guarded about who you hire and be really intentional about your hiring practices, because lots of times folks that look great on paper turn out to be not so hot in reality. So
yeah, and and everybody out there knows that this is the hardest part. If you'd have told me years ago that the hardest part of running a business was finding people, and I said that can't be right. I'm sure it's up there, but it's not but it is. This mentality of fire fast but hire slow. I know you always meet somebody, you say, I want to snatch them up before somebody else sweeps in and get them, but you got to take your time.
Well, just from a cost perspective, it can be staggering how much a bad hire can cost you. Let's just say that you're a growing business and you're looking to hire 10 people in the next year. If you have something like a 20% turnover rate, that's just 2 people. At an average cost of, let's just say, $50,000 a year. You're just in salary costs alone. You're wasting $100,000 in revenue. That doesn't even take into account the time spent training, the time that they're with you, trying to figure out whether they can do the work or not. It also doesn't take into account that their time at your company may mean that some of your truly star employees leave because they're just a bad culture fit, and they just can't make it work. So yeah, being really intentional with the way you hire and the people that you let into your tribe is incredibly important, both from a financial and a cultural standpoint.
Yep, and check out our other video where we've talked about always recruiting and things to look out for too. We'll include that link in the description. So we know that it's disruptive both from a financial standpoint and a cultural standpoint. So Pat, let's share with everybody some of the tips that we always go through and we always think about when we make a new hire. And we got it split up to about 4 or 5 different things that we always look for.
Sure. I think the first thing is you got to make sure that you're not just you as the manager, but your hiring team is really in agreement as to what you need somebody to do. A detailed job description is incredibly helpful here, and we need to make sure that the person on the other end understands what they'll be asked to do, that they're comfortable with that. And really, if you can set out some goals for that first year that you'd like this person to achieve and make that part of your interview process, even better, because then they know exactly what they're walking into and you're crystal clear about how you're going to measure their success in that critical first 12 months.
That's super important. And I think it plays into kind of that second key that we always talk about, which is be okay walking away from candidates that are a little bit too vague about why they want the job or even what they want to accomplish, right? Understandably, they're not going to know all the ins and outs of the company, and even looking at the job description, knowing exactly but they should have some goals in mind as far as where they want to help from their own personal perspective, and also why they want the job. If you can't sell yourself, and the one time that I'm asking you to sell yourself, I'm not sure if you're going to be a good fit.
Well, and I think that you see this probably more than anybody, Jordan, just because you're always recruiting salespeople, and we've all met the base jumpers, the guys that bounce from one sales job to another to increase their base. And the truth of the matter is that they couldn't sell their way out of a paper bag. They've just got an impressive resume of sales departments that they've worked in, and it sort of they're able to talk their way into a better base. So if your candidate is really vague about why they want the job, then it's a good indication that they're really just looking for a paycheck. They're not looking for, they're not looking to be the sort of transformative or revolutionary person that you need in this position. And it's probably best to just walk away at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Third thing that we always talk about is, are they also vague when they answer questions, or if they're specific? We're big believers in role play for lots of positions. Are they actually answering the questions that you ask, or do you feel like you're sitting in front of a politician? You know?
Yeah. And I think that this goes the same for the people on our side of the table too. You know, if it's not a really simple yes or no based on really tight criteria from the interviewer's standpoint, if they're making justifications for why this person is a fit, once again, it's probably not. From both sides of the fence, it should be very clear about from the person who wants the job, why they want it, and then from the person that's doing the interviewing, why they're a good fit. Anything else, it's probably not. And there are lots of things that you can do. You can check references. You can ask to see past projects that they've successfully completed. Talk to people in your network that might know these people. There is nothing better than word of mouth to sort of give you an idea of, can this person handle the job?
Yeah. That's a great point. Our best employees have come from references, either from current or past employees or clients or people that we know. The best employees tend to come from those networks that you have. That's another reason why we always say you always have to be recruiting. Chances are, if you start interviewing by the time you need the position, you're already too late. You're already behind the 8 ball, and that's why you see a lot of people rush to fill a role. So I'd say the fourth thing is always be recruiting.
Yeah, I think it's always be recruiting. And the reason that you're always recruiting is because when you do need to bring somebody on, you've got this really small, tight pool of candidates. My best hires have always come from, let me put this another way. My best hires have never come from a job posting. Mm-hmm. It has always come from people that I had heard about. I had fostered some sort of relationship with. I had them in my contact list, and I knew when I was going to start making a run at them. And Steve Jobs famously said, all of his best hires took a year to get. Really, truthfully, same thing. The best ones take 6 months to sort of figure out if they're the right person, build that sort of initial relationship, figure out where they fit and how they fit, and then when it's time, move quickly, because strong candidates opt out and have lots of options, and so you want to make sure that you're making a compelling case for them.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that tip. Keep a list of about 6 to 7 people that you can always pick up the phone and call, that you don't have to go through a rigorous interview process, because you already know that they're a fit, that they have the capacity to do the job, and now the timing's right. That's a great tip. One last thing that we always talk about is look for culture first. You can teach a lot of different people a lot of different skill sets. If they're not a fit culturally and they don't align with your core values, they should automatically be disqualified. Doesn't mean they're a bad person, just doesn't mean that culturally and core value wise they fit within your organization. So that is always the very first thing we look at. That's typically always the first conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And be rigorous and honest about protecting that culture too, because it is incredibly hard to develop, and it's incredibly fragile at every stage of your business. So good point, Joe.
All right. Last little tidbit to remember too is most people aren't great at this, and that's okay. Even if you follow these tips, no matter how many books or webinars you watch, you're going to make some bad hires. So, we can create a whole nother video on this. But if you did make a bad hire, that's okay. Don't hold on to them because you feel like you're a bad hire. Cut the cord. You're doing them just as much of a favor by doing that as the organization getting rid of that individual. So, Like, comment, subscribe, especially if we earned it. We'd love to know what your hiring tips are. We kept this very broad, but if there's some specific things that you guys do, we would love to hear about it. Again, we're no different than anybody else. Hiring good people is the hardest part of our business. So comment below. We'd love to hear your tips and tricks for some of these things too. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, thanks, Pat. Peace, peeps.